Hello! Hi! Ooh, sorry, wrong thing. There we go. It's been a while. I'm not dead. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright, to Ace Attorney, the thing that I stream the most. How is everybody doing? And I know I said it in the chat, but hello, Moonly, and thank you, Ergo, for following for 10 months. I appreciate it. I mean, I wouldn't say you're obligated, Ergo, because we're married, but at the same time, I still appreciate it. Woo! To you too, Ergo. And, oh, thank you. You know what? I just did a hydrate, but I'll hydrate because I just saw your hydrate. And hello, Nightshade. I'm doing pretty well. I've been having some weird brain stressies recently, but other than that, I've been doing pretty good. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Maya is still kidnapped, Cronus. She's still kidnapped. Let me make sure I wrote it right. Yep, Maya is still kidnapped. That she is. It's unfortunate, but you know, that's if you play the Ace Attorney games enough, you tend to learn that Maya she either gets kidnapped or framed for murder many times. But we love her. We love her all the same. But I hope all of you guys are doing good. Also, I just realized our fun little avatars are not here. That's no good. Hang on. We gotta... Oh, they are running. Wait. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can fix this. Hang on. Ergo, I can hear you mumbling, but I cannot hear you. Hang on, let me see. Hang on, hit connect.
In stream avatars?
Where does it say it?
Top left.
Top left. Yes.
Top left.
Top left.
Very top left.
Oh,
right there.
oh. Leave me alone. I haven't streamed in a decade. Thank you. I love you. It was literally a button just right there. Like Ergo said, immediately to my left, right there. But I saw it, so we're good. So yay, look at our anime and Pokemon all hanging out. Pokemon is an anime, but you know what I mean. And hello, Leary, hello. My day is going all right. Cronus, how about you? How is your day going? Are we ready to try to save Maya? I know this case is kind of long, so I'm not sure if we're going to save her yet. But we will certainly try. We'll see how far we go. And as long as I don't get too exhausted from this portion of the stream, I also want to do a little Danganronpa too in a little bit as well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of voice acting, so I told Ergo that I'll have to put on a pot of tea later to make sure I don't lose my voice at all. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing good so far. That's really good to hear, Cronus. Always happy to see you guys around, all of you, every single one of you. Seeing you makes me happy, and you are the ones that make me the happiest to stream stuff, you know? So, anyway, let's go and do this. But first, as is customary, I know there's only a few of us, but let's do a little battle royale if possible. Oh, you know what? I forgot. You gotta do it all in one word, don't you? Yep, there you go. All right. So there's not a lot of us in here, so this should be a pretty quick fight. But let's see what happens. Well, Cronus, you say you're ready, huh? Let's see. Oh, I think I'm fighting you, Cronus. Oh no. Oh no. I'm fighting Sony PlayStations, apparently. Oh, I just murdered Sony. Okay. All right. Oh, Cronus, who are you fighting now? Oh my god, I think Nightbot just got obliterated. Oh, Leary, we're coming for you. Moonly, this ain't looking so good for you. Oh, Cronus. Did you get that health back, Cronus? Oh, you're so rude. Oh, who's gonna get this health pack? Moonly looks like they're gonna get it. Oh, but I don't know if that's gonna save them. Oh, man. Moonly. Oh, see, it's always so rough when the health pack comes right towards you as you're getting murdered. But excellent job, Cronus. Cronus, you said you were ready, and you were right. You were so ready, you murdered everyone. GG, friends. Yeah, Natsu really did just beat up that Moonrock. Like, absolutely. But Moonly, you held your own. You held your own. You survived until almost the end there. Excellent job. All right. Well, I think that this is a perfect opportunity. Oh, I see the posture check.
See, I'm straight. I'm straightening up. See, no shrimp pose today. And it's Hell. Hello. How are you, Hell? I'm gonna turn it down just a smidgy. Okay. All right, now for realsies, we're gonna get to this. But hang on, I see the stretch. Also, I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna do the stretch. Okay, good stretch. And I'm also doing okay. Thank you for asking. I'm glad to hear that you're doing okay.
Let's go and fill Moomin Valley with crime. Come on!
Yeah! Let's go do crime by solving crime. That's the most criminal thing of all. But it's good to see all of you guys. I've missed all of you. You guys are wonderful. I really should watch streams more often because you guys are all a delight, and I freaking love all of you. So big smooches to you all. Let's get into this. Let's see where we left off last. Oh. We're about to go to court. Oh, I do not remember the voice I gave this dude. Like, at all. It was probably something ultra generic. Okay. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there was someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. Whoa! I got scared! I got so scared! One day you're gonna murder me in real life on stream as I have a heart attack. I'm gonna be like, ah!
No, okay, I just noticed that, I think like the,
Is the sound not working? The game
it's like,
sound?
it's like playing twice.
Oh, awkward.
So wait, hold on.
But also, good night, Leary.
Fix that.
Thank you for stopping in before sleep.
Hold on. I know there's a way to fix that.
Don't do anything, 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 don't do anything. I'm saying that to you, to me, not to you.
Okay, there we go. That should do it.
That should do it? That should do it? Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah! Is the sound only coming in once, guys? You're not hearing it in doubles? Hopefully. Well, if there is any issue, I'm sure Ergo will return post haste because he's that kind of mod. He's an in real life mod who can come and help whenever I need it. But as a little refresher, so Adrian Andrews is this guy's manager. This is Matt Ungard, and Matt Ungard is currently under our defense. We are in court, but the problem is, as I said above, in the title description, Maya is kidnapped. She has been kidnapped, and the kidnapper said that their demands are that Phoenix Wright defend Matt on guard, essentially. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to defend Matt on guard. And Adrian Andrews, well, it's a bit much to explain at the moment, but we'll probably get into it during the trial today. But she's got a complicated history with everyone involved. So that's what we're going to deal with today, I'm sure. Oh, question marks. Well, it's almost time. Oh, it's Mia! Mia Pearl! Mia? We must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now, or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Oh. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? I didn't give you my throne account! You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer did? Who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Are you suddenly Disney's Pinocchio? And hey, Punch Cactus, welcome! And those guards are eavesdropping and not even hiding it. You know, fair. If I was a security officer in a Phoenix Wright game, I would be eavesdropping all the time. This is where all the cool, interesting shit happens. Always around Phoenix. And the present better not be a mysterious box, I swear. I know, right? What's in the box? Better not be. Uh-oh. No one's there. Uh-oh.
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ungard. You know, everyone's names in this universe usually has a pun. What's Matt's? Anyone? Anyone? No? Well, maybe I'll figure it out by the end of the trial. Are the prosecution and the defense ready?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Ms. Von Karma?
I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Oh, and Punch, no worries. Honestly, I also haven't streamed in a while, so you haven't really missed much. If what I saw before was to be believed, I may not have streamed for like a whole month. So, yeah. So yeah, it's been a hot minute, but I'm happy to be back, and I'm actually hoping to make this a pretty nice long stream if I can manage it. Oh, Moonly, it's like you read my mind. I was drinking already, but I'll drink extra for you right now. Thank you. Very refreshing. But also, seriously, if anyone knows the pun to Matt Ungard's name, I would love to know it. Because I really can't figure it out.
Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Nani the fuck? Shot?
This was a lousy present. Lousy present, kidnapper dude. Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage.
This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she all right? I don't have that answer.
I think I know who this is, so I'm going to just assume.
She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. You're...
I thought. Yeah! It's Edgy! Edgy boy! Right? Thank goodness it's not a finger. I mean, in Ace Attorney, yeah, fingers are quite prominent, so we are absolutely lucky it's not one of those.
Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Ms. Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place.
Also, I know this is a bit of a tangent. It is related, by the way, to Ace Attorney. But seeing Edgeworth just reminded me. Ergo and I have watched the, 2 of the 3 Ace Attorney stage plays. And they are on YouTube, and they are translated, so they have subs. And they're freaking great. They're so good. There's the first one deals it's like a normal kind of trial. And Edgeworth is the prosecutor, and Ms. Oldbag is there. There's a bunch of characters who are there. Larry is in both of them. It's crazy. And in the other one, it's a Miles investigations one. So it's more of Miles trying to like figure out what's going on. And mwah, I will just say here and now, they are great. And if you're a fan of Ace Attorney and you've not seen them, I highly recommend you go and search them up. If you search up Ace Attorney stage play on YouTube, you should find them. So yeah, I just wanted to plug that because they were so funny and I loved it. They really captured the essence of this game series in those stage plays. So I'm hoping that when Ergo and I watch the third one, it'll be a 3 out of 3, that all 3 will be amazing. So we shall see.
But yes, I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally.
I think that's that Miles Edgeworth guy from the Miles Investigations game.
Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ungard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand.
I feel like Gumshoe always looks so sad because he knows he's going to lose more of his salary when he says something. But also I know he's worried because he knows what's going on with Maya, so he's probably like, shit,
I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get, Maya in trouble. Witness your name and occupation.
My name's... I don't know why I was trying to sound like the judge there. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now.
oh, for now? Gummy, no.
For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness.
I forgot about that. That would also indicate why he's sad.
Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah.
it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Awards ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder.
Sounds like it had everything to do with the murder.
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Okay, we do what we do best. We press! And hello, Mike! Welcome to the stream! How are you doing? I hope that you are doing well. You've come at a good time. We just basically started the trial. And just in case you weren't here for it, Francesca von Karma, she was shot in the shoulder by our Maya kidnapper, no doubt. And Miles Edgeworth is taking over as the prosecution currently. So that is where we are currently now. Oh, we are pressing. Oh, no, that's not the press button. There we go.
Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later.
And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period.
Please continue with your testimony, detective. The victim, Juan Corrida. Oh, I already read that. Sorry, my bad.
The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct?
Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt and Gad's manager. She's really pretty lady, sir. Oh, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Matt and Gad. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. Horrifying.
Do. And Mike, you're saying that you're doing good? You started a trial for Paramount Plus since it came to Ireland last month, and it's good for watching South Park and SpongeBob late at night? Nice! Yeah, I think, if memory serves me correctly, Ergo and I got a Paramount Plus account just because I wanted to watch one of the SpongeBob movies. Well, actually, we were watching all three of the SpongeBob movies. And what I find really annoying is that if you want to watch all three of those movies, you have to look at two different places. And also, you have to, like, having an account doesn't get you the movie. For at least 2 out of the 3, you had to, like, rent them or something. And if I hadn't been so into wanting to watch those movies, I wouldn't have even bothered. But yeah, I love watching some SpongeBob myself, so I hope that you are enjoying that right now. And if you're not watching it right now, I'm glad to hear that you are enjoying it when you do.
The cause of death, wasn't that because of Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal.
Ow! Gumshoe, don't be so mean.
Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana.
Oh, sorry, banana.
Banana?
Oh, I did, okay, it did say bandana.
His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Oh, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana.
I love the judge. He's such a crazy boy.
Then what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here.
And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Ooh, then how about this theory? I call it a game theory. Trademark pending. A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? Yeah, we thought of that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims.
Only the victims, huh?
I see. Oh, so much for my game theory then.
Let's see, and Paramount Plus only has the first SpongeBob movie, and I think and hello, Rev! Thank you for resubscribing! Wow, for 10 months! Rev, thank you. You are so kind, my friend. And yes, we are back in California, Japan, or Japanfornia. I forget how I used to refer to it, but yeah, we are currently there. Welcome, my friend. Let's see. And Mike, you were saying that the third one released on Netflix months before everyone else got it. Too bad the third one kind of sucks. Yeah, I didn't like the third one. It was. Yeah, no. The first two weren't bad, but yeah, the third one, wasn't a fan. But I hope that you are doing well, Rev. Welcome to court! Let's see what's going on here with Juan Corrida and his empty guitar case. And how it supposedly has nothing to do with the murder.
What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case?
The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV station. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar.
So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel.
Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case at all.
Oh, and hello, Onsert. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but thank you for coming by again. Thank you. I'm having a lovely time. Thank you for visiting. How are you doing? And yeah, I know it's been a bit of a long time. I haven't streamed for like a month. And to you too, Rev. For all. All right, Edgeworth. Edgeworth is being edgy.
I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him.
You want Edgeworth to talk cleanly to you?
Hello, Rev. Scrub-a-dub-dub.
Was that clean enough?
Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe. Please testify about this matter.
And you said you were saw us streaming a few times, but it was that newer Phoenix Wright game, so didn't participate much to avoid spoilers for yourself. Oh, that's absolutely understandable. Whenever we would raid, there's a person that we follow. I think her name is Navi, but she was playing the newer Great Ace Attorney games as well. And if we would like raid her, we would go, "Love you, but we gotta dip, bye," because she was farther in it than we were. So I totally understand that. But welcome to the chat. So yes, as much as you'd like, feel free to participate as much as, well, like I said, as much as you would like. But it's good to have you. And Rev, wait, no, because he's doing an Edgeworth voice. I want the real Miles Edgeworth. I mean, fair, Rev. If I could, I would. If I could somehow send the real Miles Edgeworth to you, I would. I would put in a cameo right away. Actually, speaking of, I know the voice actor for Phoenix has a cameo account, Eric Vale. So I've never checked about Edgeworth though. So I mean, you could technically get your wish, Rev, if he does.
And very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Matt Ungard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Ungard's Hakama.
And Rev, you said one day I'll get one, but not for me, and not as Phoenix Wright. There you go. But wait then, if you're not getting it for you, then who would you get? Let's see.
And the defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder.
I mean, what if he just needed a knife? There's always that, too. You know, he's like, well, darn, I forgot to pack some silverware, and I'm going to eat. I should go to the local dollar store and buy me a knife. And Mullen Mike, while we're speaking of Capcom, kinda, I've been playing Mega Man and Devil May Cry currently. The former because it's my backlog, and the latter because I want to play Bayonetta before the third game drops. And Hideki Kamiya started both series. Oh, that sounds like fun, Mike. I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself with that. And let's see, and someone I know who is a big Eric Vale fan will probably have to do him a funny America voice. Oh, that's awesome! I'm sure that they would love that. Eric Vale he's a treat. I love his voice, and I love his Phoenix voice. So, mwah, I think your friend will enjoy that for sure when you do.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? It's not just ketchup? Dang it! All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions.
All right, it's pressing time.
But in terms of popularity, Mr. Ungard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Corrida was always one step behind Mr. Ungard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Wait just 1 second there. Mr. Ungard was beating Mr. Corrida in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, Detective,
Also, this is a bit of a tangent, but again, it's related. I've been listening to the first game's soundtrack a lot recently. I've been like humming it aggressively to Ergo, and I really miss the music right now. So like this, this calm music is driving me nuts. But I still like it though. The Ace Attorney soundtrack is always great, but I still really like the first one.
It's not, well, I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant wouldn't have had a motive.
Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired.
Not you too, Mr. Hedgeworth, sir. That's...
I look forward to your pension negotiations.
No!
Poor Gumshoe.
No, Detective. Let's continue with the testimony. No, not my poor pension, too.
Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed.
Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir.
What about that? What about what was I saying? Hello, anyone? Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim?
Huh? What do you mean, pal?
Well, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Huh? But can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it.
Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward.
Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir!
All right, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match.
Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal.
That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat.
When was this button found?
Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corrida, and then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder.
The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? That I lollygag and play tricks? How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife?
Huh? What do you mean, pal?
By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand?
Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that.
I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder.
So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then?
Where's the receipt?
There is no way this was premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife.
Sorry, pal, this isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either.
Well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for.
Phoenix,
Yes?
there's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late.
A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Unguard's fingerprints.
Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing.
We're still in a world full of trouble.
Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Okay, hang on. Let's look at our evidence. It's been a hot minute. Okay, hang on. So let's look at this. So, okay, there's the Nickel Samurai picture we have. Seems like the Nickel Samurai is to confess something after the post-ceremony stage show. Originally from Maya's kidnapper, who goes by the name De Killer. Stolen on the night of the murder. Tabloid article about the victim was in the case. All right, we have this tabloid, Jammin' Midnight Rendezvous, a superstar in an ultra-hot mega-secret love scandal. Reliable sources say that Juan Corrida has been getting in close with the mysterious yet beautiful manager to the stars, Ms. A.A., which we know is Adrian Andrews. Map. Ever since that one where Maya was our defendant in this game. I think it was the first trial. Ever since that map where I could not place where Maya was on the map, I like can't look at maps without going, ugh. Like that made me so angry. And it made me feel so stupid. Ugh. So here's to hoping that this map doesn't haunt me in my dreams like the last one did. Alright, empty guitar case, there's some water, but only on top of the lid bears Corrida's fingerprints. Found next to the victim, it's filled with tomato juice, no sign it's been drunk. Crime photo. Yeah, and that's where the missing button is, clearly. Deceased Celeste Impa, found by Juan Corrida. Was her suicide note hidden? Tempter, Adrian Andrews. Reason, shock from Celeste. Ah, that's right, yes. Time of death for Juan Corrida, 8:15, strangled with a knife, then strangled with a knife. There you go. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Bears the victim's blood and unguards fingerprints. I wonder if is this going to be related to the fact that he was killed with a scarf and then stabbed with the knife. So then how would it be premeditated murder if he was strangled with the scarf instead? Right? I wonder if that's what it's going to be about. It was ripped from his costume, is covered in Corrida's blood, found in Engard's hakama. Okay, Matt Engard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals. They each thought the other guy was in the way. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found in his hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defense brought the knife for the crime, which makes this premeditated murder. Okay, so I'm gonna save real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the evidence we're presenting is the cause of death. I could be wrong. No, there we go. Okay. Health bar, do you go away? Nope, it does not. Oops. Or as Crow and Chroma says, oops. Okay. Ah, the knife of the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Okay, well, let me look at the knife again. Let's look at the knife. In the grip. Oh, yeah, wait. Yeah, it says Gatewater on it. Yeah, hang on. Wait, go back to that. Okay, let's try this. It says Gatewater on it. He didn't buy that. Sometimes I think too hard about things. Sometimes it really is that obvious. Let me take a quick sip.
Wait a second. Yeah, what? So the basis of your argument that this was premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Get it? It's a play on Watergate. Oh. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Burn!
We love you, Gumshoe.
Yes, that's very true. This is very big. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not, has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't know. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. I know. Pick me. Pick me. It came from the victim, Mr. Correda's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. Ah, the knife! There is a knife and a fork on the table. Oh, I see it. I see it. Me! I see it. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Mattengard. His knife was missing, especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Mattengard's knife was missing. Mr. Ungard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Oh, yeah, sounds premeditated to me. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints, and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown?
He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well...
Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, the gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of our defeat, which means we're gonna save.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to the court?
I mean, I'm assuming I do.
There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, Wright, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Woo! Just so we don't have to go through a bunch of text again.
You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show?
Is it the tabloid stuff? Oh, or is it this stuff? I'm gonna try it.
Take that!
Ha! Yay!
Sorry, Wright, but this time your bluffing steered you wrong.
Wait, what? No! Rude! Don't fake me out like that. Rude game. Rude! Okay, so it's not that. Is it this?
Take that!
All right, let's see. Nope. See, it fakes me out. It takes my health bar away, so I think I'm right. And then I'm not. What evidence do we have that they... The Nickel Samurai poster! I mean, is it? Hang on. I'm drawing a blank. Don't judge me. I'm gonna take a quick peek at my walkthrough. I'm sure as soon as I see it, I'm gonna be like, oh, that. Oh. Oh, see, yep. Yeah. Right here. It's the wine glass. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I did that, but okay, there we go.
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. Yeah, it's because everything else was messy except for that glass there. Which makes sense. That is what makes sense.
This scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass.
And right, Nightshade, it always does seem so obvious after you look at it. You go like ding dang, how did I miss that? Like, that makes so much more sense now. But yeah, no, I'm glad it's not just me, because that happens all the time. Every single time I pop open the walkthrough, for this game especially. Okay.
This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place, by the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. This does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set the glass down without thinking? There's no way! If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. It's time to bluff the Phoenix Wright way! For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty.
They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough.
The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. Oh, sick burn! What? You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints?
Oh my god. I don't know why my brain thinks of so many random things, but I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Animaniacs, but the fingerprints line just reminded me of one of the infamous raunchy jokes and from Animaniacs. And the funny thing is, it was apparently put in there as a joke to the censors. Because I guess they were like, yeah, they'll see this and be like, what are you guys doing? No, you can't say that. And I guess the censors didn't get it. And they put it through. I won't say it unless you guys want me to. I don't know. Because I'm usually pretty say-so. And I'll be honest, this joke went over my head for a while, and I actually had to look it up, and I was like, oh. Speaking of looking things up and then going, oh my god, I'm an idiot. How did I miss that? Yeah. So, if you want me to say the joke, I will, but otherwise, feel free to look it up on your own time. It's pretty funny, especially if you like the Animaniacs. It's hilarious. And then, let's see. Gotta love how Phoenix just pulls things out of thin air with airtight confidence mostly, right? He's really good at that. He's got like the art of bluffing down pat. Used to love Animaniacs, but they're so wacky. I'd vote for saying the joke. Oh, you want to hear it? We'll see. Let me see. If majority of people want to hear it, then I'll do it. It was in my head because yesterday I repeated it to somebody at work. And so when I saw fingerprints, I was like, oh my god. I love it. So hang on, let's finish this thought, and we'll see what the majority is.
There are only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? Come on, Edgeworth, don't leave me in suspense. They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? This is why I said the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Yeah, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now, do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario, as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth, you have lore? I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness.
What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Well, we'll take a pause there. And Nightshade, since you said you also voted for hearing the joke, what the hey, we'll go ahead and do it. So, picture this, the scene. Wacko, Yakko, and Dot, so the Animaniacs in question, are on a boat. And Yakko is dressed up, or well, all three of them are dressed up as detectives. They're trying to solve a case, apparently. Funnily enough, speaking of cases. And Yakko says, okay, everybody, we have to go and look for prints. And Dot, it like goes to Dot, and she's holding Prince, the singer. And she says, I found Prince. And Yakko says, no, fingerprints. And she looks at him and then goes, I don't think so. And then she throws him out a window. And if you don't get it, I didn't get it either. And I'm not going to explain it because I'm more or less a say-so channel. So I'll just say, think about Yakko's phrasing. And that maybe will do it for you. But yeah, it is always the top, like, Animaniacs joke. Whenever you watch compilations, it's generally, like, the top rated, like, raunchy joke. It's like, whoa, they got that in there? Like, yikes. And, right, anything but this witness. That's why I was like, you know what? We'll take a quick pause here before we get to her. Freaking Ms. Oldbag. Funnily enough, she was dressed in this outfit for the for the stage play. When we watched the first stage play, she's wearing that, or well, she's not wearing the whole outfit, I don't think, but she has the space gun. And we're like, what the hell? It's really great. I love it. Guy got denied. Sounds like you got it. Right? Yeah, Ken say back when lots of kids shows had teeth. Yeah, when they were really good at hiding some stuff in there, you know? Like I said, that joke apparently was, supposedly, from what I've heard, because they were like, I've watched like behind the scenes commentary and stuff, from the show. And, somebody said, I can't remember which one of them, said that was supposed to be a little goof for the censors, but they didn't catch it, so it got put in the show. Oh my god. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. But yeah, no, the Animaniacs, they have some great jokes. One of my other favorites, to stall so that we don't have to talk to Old Bag yet, is there's an episode where it's like Thanksgiving themed. And so the Warner siblings are they're the Indians, and the dude that they're dealing with through the episode, he's a pilgrim, and he's trying to kill this turkey that they've become friends with, and he says, "Just give me the bird," and they're like, "We'd love to, really, but the Fox censors wouldn't allow it." And that is also one of my favorites. I love it. I love any time they reference that. Because apparently that's not the only time they've said the give the bird thing, you know? And it's used in that kind of context. But yeah, Animaniacs is great and I love it. I love it. I love it so much. But anyway, I guess we should talk to Old Bag. Let's do it.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation. Gotcha! I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier.
Oh, Edgy boy! It's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand?
I forgot that he called her that.
I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things I don't have to, and even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Oh, shush, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam. No. Please, by all means, interrupt her. Please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say, that youths are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Ms. Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in the real man, Juan Carrera.
But those two were the same age.
Let's see. Someone take that gun away from her. It's too dangerous, even though it's a prop gun. Right? I was thinking the same thing. But then again, in this courtroom, they allow people to hold whips. So I guess anything goes. And Nightshade, it takes Phoenix an entire trial to make Edgeworth panic as much as Old Bag can in one sentence. Ooh! You right. And he has no idea how to deal with that woman. It's amazing. And watch her become the big antagonist of the next Phoenix Wright game. That's right. Spoiler alerts. It's all Ms. Oldbag. She's behind everything. Oh my god, though. Can you imagine such a thing? Wild.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed during the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo.
And
coming by and you're off to bed. Enjoy your rest, my friend. I hope that you sleep well and that you have great dreams. Thank you, Luna. It's always good to see you. Mwah! Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard. Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Have you seen her pissed off face? Tell me it doesn't give you nightmares every time. You know it's true. Oops, I missed what the judge just said.
Yeah, I said something, judgy. Judge!
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
I went to pace around his room, you know, nothing weird.
Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails.
Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Yeah, then she would have been complicit for murder if something had happened. Oh my god. Yeah, that would have been in an alternate universe. That would have been her murder trial right there. Besides, that rancher with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door.
And Mike, I've been trying to sleep, but it's too warm at my house, and now I'm sad with insomnia. No! I'm so sorry. I hope that you can get to sleep. I hate when I can't sleep. It's like the worst. It's one of the worst feelings. Especially when you know you need to go to sleep. That's also the worst. I never want to sound like a melatonin pusher. Like, have you tried melatonin? But it helps me a lot. I don't know how if it's something that you might think would help you, I would look into it. Because I used to have, knock on everything, I used to have a lot of trouble sleeping. And it really has helped me a lot. So I don't know if maybe that would help. But if it's the heat that's keeping you up, I hope that things can cool down for you soon. I hope that it can get nice and what you call it? Well, not too cold, but you know, a good temperature. Comfortable, that's the word I was looking for. I hope it can be nice and comfortable soon. So I'm hoping for you, Mike. Just don't think of old bag. As we were saying, her scary expression. That'll keep you up. Let's see. Oh, okay. There was something she was interested in finding out. And I think I know what she was interested in finding out. She was interested in that tabloid.
Something you were interested in. Just what was that?
It's not some little thing I could just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Oh, and Edgy Pooh, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip. But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later.
It looks like we shouldn't force it right now.
And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Oh, then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corrida's room?
I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I kept track of how old I really am.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room. He was...
Yes, he was.
Oh, I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francesca's whip right about now.
Old bag's age. Old. Yes, agreed. It's in her name, too. Let's see. Well,
I guess I can tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Annoying brat, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person. I mean, no offense, but you said you saw Will Powers. I was struggling to remember his name during that one case, and you didn't. So sorry if we're a little, hard at trusting you for your word. See, I just realized. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's face, what the person was carrying, the person's clothes. Let's try the person's face. See if they were wearing a costume or not, because that was the problem last time. And Mike, you were saying, I'm sure I'll be fine. I tried going downstairs and drinking water, so maybe I'll just hope the nights are cooler in this heat wave. Yeah, oh man, it is so freaking hot everywhere. Oh my gosh. So I completely understand. It's always gross hot where we live as well. And so we probably spend way too much on our AC because we have it on all the time. It is just unbearable otherwise. So I'm hoping that you can get comfy soon, and I hope drinking that water helped. You ever get the feeling of deja vu, right, Kensei? With Old Bag, yeah, kind of hard not to get deja vu, especially with the Will Powers case.
Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail.
You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. His right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling, shiny teeth.
His teeth were shining?
Well, he's shining all around in this week's pinup poster, dearie.
This week's pinup? Why do you... I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw that night.
What? A guy's face is the same no matter what it is. Where it is, you know, you whippersnapper.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
I want to ask it again. Hang on. A part of me wants to check the... Hang on. Let me just save. Okay. I was like, I want to check the walkthrough because I'm pretty sure... I think I had to say the costume. So I'm not sure if I need to say it was important or it isn't right now. Because I wonder if I can go back and select that. Oh, and thank you for following. It's TNM. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wonky. If there's a way you'd prefer me to say it, please let me know. But welcome to the collection, to my treasure hoard. You're a treasured person, and I hope you never forget that. And all it takes for her to get pissed off is she'll stop seeing anything, apparently, since she loses her cornea when she does. Right? And I got it right. Ah, very nice, very nice. But welcome. I hope that you're doing well, and I hope you're enjoying things. This is your favorite case in the game? Honestly, I think I'd have to say this is probably my favorite of this game as well. It's very interesting, and I like all the characters in it. It's quite fascinating. So everyone who hasn't seen, I won't say, so no, I will not spoil because I've played this as well. But yeah, just hold on to your rear ends, everybody, if you've not seen this case before, because it's a wild ride. Oh, you meant to say in the trilogy? It's your favorite in the trilogy? Honestly, I'm not sure which one is my favorite in the whole trilogy. I like a lot of them. This one might be my favorite in the whole trilogy, but it's certainly my favorite in this game, I think. So for sure this one. Oh, that's right. I'm not sure. I think I have to say it's not important.
I guess it really wasn't that important after all. Mr. Wright, do you know why we say time is valuable? If not, I suggest you learn.
You've wasted 3 minutes of this woman's youth. That's more valuable than gold to me.
Why do I suddenly feel old in the presence of childish whining? She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. Really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has the tendency to jump off topic.
She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right?
That's because you're not the one who has to question her.
Okay, so let's... Okay. Let's see if this room, hallway of his room. There's something, it was interesting to find out. She found out the whole time. Shut up his room, it was coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard. Okay. It was this one, right? Okay, you saw my client. Are you sure about that? Annoying brat when I say I see somebody. Okay, here. I'm gonna save. Because I think this is what we need. We need this. Okay, so it wasn't the person's face, the person's clothes.
Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really. As if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket.
Now he's wearing that at the detention center too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men.
Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
Well, it might be. It's not what I was expecting, because I was expecting the costume. But they found the button in the Hakama, and if he was wearing his racing jacket, then he wouldn't have been wearing the Hakama, would he? Because the Hakama is part of the costume. I think. So, what if we say it was?
Of course it was important, Your Honor.
Dang it.
Then perhaps you would like to point out which part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Ooh! Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but all right, witness.
But I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must... Okay, so honestly, I'll just for show... Okay, let me test something. Because if it doesn't work, I'm going to check the walkthrough real quick to make sure we have the right thing. Or that, or I could just reload and we can try the third statement and see if we get something better. But the button. Yes, I think we got it. I think we found it.
Miss Oldbag?
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
It's button number 2 of the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it at a single glance.
Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this!
Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood.
See, this would be me with Yu Yu Hakusho. Okay, so this is a tangent that's not related to Ace Attorney. I'm a huge stan for Yu Yu Hakusho. It's my favorite anime of all time and will always be. And my favorite character is Hiei. I love him. He's my anime husbando for life. I love you, ergo, don't worry. But anyway, they're doing a live-action film for Netflix Japan, and they just released so far Yusuke, Hiei, and Kurama's actors, and like what they look like in costume. And I'll be honest, you know, Hiei looks a little different to me, but I still like where they're going. So, you know, I know it's live action, so it's going to look different. So that being the case, whatever, or that's not the case. But if, like, say with the live action, somebody was like, here is this, like, blood-covered sword that Hiei used in the live-action movie, I'd be like, give it here! Give it here right now! Or I'll throw this game controller at your face! Oh my goodness. And, okay, hang on, let's see. And insert, you were saying, I think mine is trials and tribulations just because of that prosecution. Or just because of that prosecutor, which shall remain unnamed in case you or the others haven't played it yet. If you're talking about the next game, I have played all 3 of the Phoenix Wright trilogy games. So I know exactly who you're talking about. And yes, they are really cool. But yes, I like that, the very last case in that one. And honestly, I feel like I might try to do a marathon stream of that, because that's what I did the last time I played it for the very first time. I like told myself I am not going to stop playing until I'm done, because at the time I thought I was almost done, but I was not. It was during the height of the quarantine, so I was at, you know, home and I wasn't at work, and I played through, oh gosh, I don't remember where I was in that trial, but I played through what was probably like midpoint of that case all the way to the end. So like I was there in the evening and didn't stop until 10 a.m. So it took me a few hours just from that point alone. So it's a long case. But yeah, I might marathon stream that when the time comes, so we'll see. And Ken said, you were saying hopefully it's better than our take on Cowboy Bebop. I am hoping that they will do it justice, because I do think, I feel like it's a I hate to say the word simple, but I feel like with Yu Yu Hakusho, it is a simple-esque story, you know? That basically, guy dies, he's a delinquent, everyone thinks the worst of him, because he only shows everybody the worst side of him, but he actually is a really good guy, and he ends up coming back to life, and he has this role as the spirit detective, and he fights a bunch of demons and stuff, you know, and I feel like they could make that work if they just follow the source material. They follow the source material and, you know, play the characters as they're supposed to be played. I think it could work. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm really hoping. I don't know how long this movie is supposed to be. I don't know what it's all going to cover. If it's just going to cover, like, the Dark Tournament, maybe? Because that's a lot, actually. Maybe we'll do Maze Castle instead. I don't know. But I will say, if you guys are fans of Yu Yu Hakusho, which it sounds like some of you are, I recommend looking up the stage play, because I know I mentioned the Ace Attorney one, but Yu Yu Hakusho has one, and I've not seen it all. I've only seen some clips here and there, but it looks freaking fantastic. The costumes are great. The people playing them look perfect. They are so it's so good, and it has such great energy. So yeah, I highly recommend taking a look at it, what you can find on there. And you were saying a marathon stream sounds lovely? Well, I would love to do it, because I did it before with the Rise from the Ashes case from the first game, the DLC. So I did do that. But yeah, we'd have to get comfy and do that last case of the next game. So it'll probably be a couple months from now, but mark your calendars in advance for an unknown date and an unknown time. We will do just that. All right. But anyway, so where were we? Oh yeah, so she really is a diehard fan. Okay.
This button was covered in Mr. Unguard's body. Was discovered on Mr. Unguard's body during a full body search.
See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Unguard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants.
See? And Unguard is the nickel samurai.
Witness. Now it may just be me. And I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Mad on Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe. But instead I'd have to put up with this ridiculous-looking outfit. You'd see this outfit is hideous, Brad. It's got a tape recorder stuck to my chest. Let me tell you, it's heavy, so heavy. I wish I would have switched to CG's ages ago. Dream alive for these kids out there. I never understand. Now take a look in the mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as documentary on curling.
God. Well, Rev, as you know, all is fair. You know, in the courtrooms of Ace Attorney, everyone's allowed to have a weapon. Francesca has her whip. Old Bag has her gun. It's fine. That's right, she is the weapon.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Unguard, the man, but Mr. Unguard, the nickel samurai?
But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway.
See, this is exactly what you did in the case with Will Powers. Why don't you learn, Old Bag?
Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Let's see, Grezzy beginning to feel like a rap god, right? My tongue tied. Oh man, I cannot keep up with the greats who are able to do that. I'm always impressed with people who can sing fast. I can't. I like to think I could, but I know I can't in actuality.
Witness, think careful and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
All right, if you insist.
I should be the one sighing, not you.
On guard. On guard. Now I remember the Nickel Samurai. That's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.
I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. It's what you said last time.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
I'm youngins today. I told you there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. Forget the fact I've perjured many times before in this courtroom.
At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. And may God have mercy on you, I am so sorry.
Oops. No, we gotta go back. We gotta press. Okay, yeah, now I remember. I'm sure there's nothing important in this press, but would you please get on with your testimony?
What's your language, young man? Young man, what sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs.
What?
A striking figure by the sea, standing all alone is he. He's the Nickel Samurai.
I don't know, that's my interpretation of Ms. Oldbag singing. I have no idea if that's what she would actually sound like. Watch, she would actually sound like really good, and people would be like, wow. But no, apparently my interpretation was spot on. He sang my poor ears.
She's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and stick to just the facts.
Okay, you promise, right?
Right, I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date.
That was really random. Why chewing gum? Although I guess anything that Edgeworth would give her, she'd be fine with.
Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not.
Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream?
Huh?
What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? The king of the pirates?
My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be Judge Wagner, a hero of the public's court. So what?
See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Wow.
Yeah, she probably thinks it's a romantic thing whippersnappers do these days. Just give gum to each other. Heck yeah. Hey, Ergo, will you give me a piece of gum later? if that's romantic. That's what the whippersnappers do these days. I love it. Well,
what I said earlier, who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past.
Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies?
All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough?
No, it's kind of not, old bag.
And why would that be?
That way, no one could see his face, of course.
But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more.
You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say.
Isn't that what you're always doing to me?
I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Ergo, I see the emote. Is that a yes? Let's see.
Was there someone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremonies show?
Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing.
And that included the Gemin Ninja.
Of course it included him. That's why when a guard came out of dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway.
So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai.
As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning?
Can I throw in the towel yet?
You don't need to think too hard on this one.
Huh?
There's a contradiction in her testimony, and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us.
Well, I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay.
Okay. I wonder if this is about how he didn't know that he was going to be performing. Do we have evidence to that? Seems like the Nickel Samurai is to confess something after the post-ceremony stage show. Let's look at the... Because he probably would have gotten blood on the costume then, right? Is that maybe what they're talking about? Or the costume would have gotten messed up? Let me see. It would have been convenient. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. And I'm gonna guess on something here. Let me see. What about in the profiles? Rivals with Gem Ninja. Some bad terms. Because wait, I'm wondering, did she see Adrian Andrews as well? Because she didn't bring it up at all. But we know that Adrian Andrews went to the room. But she's only mentioning Matt on guard. Let me just... I don't know why I'm thinking the photo, but I'm thinking the photo. Yep, oh, I'm wrong. It is not that. And Punch Cactus, okay, I've been busy and I'm finally back, but is this a humanoid Rosie the robot? So wait, are you talking about the Nickel Samurai costume? Oh wait, no, are you talking about Ms. Oldbag's outfit? Because if so, I don't know why the security outfit for the Gatewater Hotel is apparently space cadet themed. I don't know. They've never explained that. That's just her weird security outfit. Go figure. Hang on. So I don't have anything that really supports the guess that I have, is that it would have been like it would have gotten blood on the suit, so why would it have done it? So why that wouldn't have been that convenient. Because the only thing I could think of was using the picture, and that didn't work. But maybe it's also the wrong, like, statement. That happens too. You had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know? So he must have worn the nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Or I wonder if it also has to do with the fact that, because, like, during the whole situation, this was apparently found in his Hakama. But that would support that. Maybe it's to remind Oldbag of her homeland, which is outer space. Yes. Yes, that is probably the most true thing I've ever heard about Oldbag. I absolutely love it. I love it. Okay, hang on. Let's look at this again. Let's look at this one more time. So we've got this that was ripped from Clarita's costume and found in the Hakama. This is the bloody knife. These are related to. So this is related to his death, and these are about the situation with Andrews and her mentor. This is the photo of the crime scene. Maybe it has to do with the crime scene photo, because maybe we would be able to prove, like, oh, then the costume would have gotten messed up, like that. So we could try that. You think with the wine glass. There's some water, but on the top of the lid. Wonder, does it have anything to do with? No, the rooms are close. We have no reason to use that yet. Same for that. And I already attempted to use that before. Let's try the crime photo. Woo! Let's try the crime photo on one of the statements. Let's see. Oh gosh, hang on. Or one day her consciousness will get turned into a housekeeper robot. Oh god, no. It's like, please don't. Yeah, no, I would not want her to be, like, I don't want her consciousness in any kind of robot. Like, no. Can you imagine how horrifying that would be? Here, let's save. Oh, well, I already saved, but it never hurts to save again. Okay, let's attempt this. I could be wrong, because I'm not really sure what the right thing is. Apparently not that. Well, what if it's just not that statement? Let me try it on this one, just to be safe. And then I'll try it on the last one too. Nope, okay. And if it's not on that one, I'll take a quick little peek at the walkthrough. Okay, let's try it. Or wait, no, okay. One more time, let's see. Let's see, Cactus. I don't know Oldbag very much, but yes, the idea is universally horrifying. Fast forward to 1,000 years in the future, humanity has ended, and it all started with one robot, Ms. Oldbag. Dun dun dun! Yeah, that would be absolutely horrifying. Okay. Okay. Hang on. Let's take a quick little peek. Let's see. Okay. See, again, this is just like what we were talking about before, Nightshade. It's when you look at it and you go, well, in hindsight, that seems stupidly easy now. because, hang on. If you look at this, so it's not this that you have to present, but the costume has gloves. And Matt on Guard's knife had fingerprints on it. So, therefore, that's the contradiction. Okay, alright. Load. One more time. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Please take a look at this.
Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work.
No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Are we here to murder Miss Oldbag? I shouldn't say this out loud, but, I could maybe look the other way and, pretend we don't see anything happen. Wink, wink, right, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to the case? You don't even have to ask. It's because of the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Right? Am I right? Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are you driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. On Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on the knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off.
Oh my god, he's right!
Yeah, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves. I can't believe Gracie didn't figure that out on her own. Man, she's oblivious. He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing.
Why would he, Edgeworth? You're smarter than that. Why would you say that?
Why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There is no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in the costume as the Nickel Samurai. And at that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. Ooh, but the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Also, Bad Blood is a good song. Anyway, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's game theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory?
My brain is never firing at all the right cylinders for this game, I swear. Because I've played this before too, so I'm like, what? Usually there's a contradiction, so let's go with that one. We'll figure it out. And yes, Judge being senile is one of my favorite consistent jokes in this theory, or in this series. Same. It is hard same for me. The Judge is one of my favorite characters. Even though there are times I really want to strangle him, I adore his just oblivious nature. It is so great. And a game theory. Thanks for watching. That's right. That's right. You know what I'm doing. You see what I'm driving at. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. Oh, right, because of the knife, right? Because he had the knife. That was the crux of Edgeworth's reasoning about it being premeditated, after all. This knife, this was used by Mr. On Guard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Corrida, I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your game theory was flawed from
from supposition 1? I'm probably mispronouncing that word. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
It's to frame my client, Mr. On Guard, of course.
To frame?
Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the nickel samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness!
Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo?
Witness, did you or did you not really see the nickel samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but...
Are you saying you mixed up Mr. On Guard with the nickel samurai, his character on TV?
But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the nickel samurai, that's for sure.
She wasn't waiting for the nickel samurai. All right then, who were you waiting around for then?
That's top secret to anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you are waiting for Mr. Juan Carita. Am I correct, for witness?
Old bag making someone else's life difficult. Who would have dreamed of it? Exactly. Who indeed?
The way you think you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of?
Judging? And law, maybe? So Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Carita. Maybe, Phoenix. Maybe Old Bag was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Old Bag, you were waiting for this person to come out to the victim's room, weren't you?
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. On Guard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... Well, this is... I see. Saucy.
The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Nightshade, convinced the judge is making stuff up just as much as Phoenix is. Same. Honestly, I feel the same way. The judge is bluffing just as hard as Phoenix in most times.
Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews, without a doubt. The witness thought so as well.
Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness? What in the world are you...
Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling.
I got some information, some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
But for what for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Richwood, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you young'uns.
I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old.
Do a quick little stretchy of my own.
Okay, there we go. That Angard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he set his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know. Okay. I think Judge getting to his seat every morning is a miracle of its own. Ooh, roasted. Man, we are roasting the judge hardcore right now. He deserves it, but still.
The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for the court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant?
Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will toward the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
And Mike, you say it's cool enough to try to sleep again? Good luck, my friend. I hope that it is nice and comfortable in there and you're able to get to sleep super quick. So have a good night, sleep well. Thanks for coming. And Nightshade, he's probably gone to the wrong trial multiple times.
Hello, everybody. I'm here today for the Wait, why isn't Phoenix and Edgeworth in here? Those are usually the people that I'm in here with. Am I in the wrong room again? Ah, shit.
That'd be funny. Phoenix versus Edgeworth in a nutshell.
That's a nice argument, Miles. Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Yeah, like definitely in the first game, that was to a T what was happening.
I was using fabricated evidence. Duh.
All right. We may cross-examine, eh? Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right, Engard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire.
That's not how that saying goes, but all right.
Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Highway to the danger zone. Oh my god, that was awful. Hang on. Ugh. I'm not gonna try that again. Let's see. Wait, so what's old bag's excited face? Oh, that is her excited face, you didn't know? It's the same as her angry face. Let's see. He's an evil man, eh?
You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander.
But it's true! That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan! Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Ms. A.A.
But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossipland.
What? Are you saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? Huh? What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% the truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip.
Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright.
Discriminate?
When did I do anything like that?
Anyway, On Guard will never get me to say touche. Oh, and good night to you too, Nightshade. Sleep well. Thank you for the well wishes. And it was good seeing you. I hope that you rest very well and you have great dreams tonight. Bye-bye. Let's see.
A scandal? What do you mean by that?
You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days?
No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much.
Well, then God thought he could own a monopoly on popularity.
You don't have any proof that Mr. Ungard did such a thing.
You must be suffering from shock. The shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right.
You're right, I can't do anything. But boy, do I wish I could do something about you.
Alrighty then. Sonny, show me what you got. Can you show me proof that Mr. Ungard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? I don't think we have any evidence for that, do we? Yeah, we don't... I don't think we can.
I don't have anything to offer.
See, just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You just give me a free pass to say whatever I want whenever I want, silly boy.
Me and my big mouth.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, for you anyway.
So what do you mean by I took action?
Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her and teach her a good lesson, something you young'uns need.
You're going to teach her a good lesson?
I was going to make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this.
No, stop!
Well, it was too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night.
Wait.
What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Ew, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole in my brain, you'll never find out.
How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information?
It's the camera.
If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Old Bag?
Why are you even looking at me? Stop that!
Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it?
Take that!
The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing. On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Ms. Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions. I was about to say outrageous, but I didn't.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless?
Aha, that's it, that's the note.
No! You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy.
Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note?
I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil Unguard. She said so herself. Unguard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Pooh, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's the only little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine.
Ooh. Beautiful, Edgeworth.
Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we could overlook this just as once. Ha ha ha!
And Mama Mocha! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome, Raiders! Hello! And here. Oh, thank you for the follow! WizG or WizG, thank you so much! And then here, hang on. Ah. Oh, Ergo and I both did it at the same time. Ah, so it looks like you were playing Alice Madness Returns. That sounds really cool. How are you doing, Mama? How are you? I hope that you are well. Oh, I'm doing a quick little stretch. But here also, since we just got some raiders, let's do a battle royale. It's also perfect with this music we've got going on right now. All right, so all of our various Pokemon are coming down, along with some of our Shonen Jump characters. Ooh, and Wizzy, you got the jump catch. Very nice. Look at this carnage. And I'm glad that it was fun to play. I've never heard of that game before. It seems interesting. I like the title. I'm assuming it's Alice in Wonderland themed, yeah? Do. See, I'm bopping with this music now. But by the way, Raiders, I am Grizzly Dragon Lady. As you can see, I am a dragon, hence the horns. And I love to stream all kinds of things, like mostly Ace Attorney, I'll be honest with you. Oh my god, hang on. It's Rev versus the Nightbot. Ooh, I think Rev's got it. Yeah! Excellent job, Revenants. Excellent job. Very good on that win there, Rev/Frieza. And by the way, if you want to change your avatar, by the way, you're able to do so. We have Animal Crossing characters, Shonen Jump characters, and Pokemon currently available, I believe. And Venari, thank you so much for following as well. You guys are all so sweet. And Mama, you were saying, yes, it's an Xbox 360 game that came out in like 2011. Ooh. See, some of the older games are always fun to play, right? But I'm glad that you've been enjoying it. I'm glad that you had a fun stream, and I really appreciate you coming down here to hang out with us. I hope that you and all of your fellow friends are gonna have a good time today, regardless if you're here or wherever you go after, you know? All right, but we're in the midst of a case. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Ace Attorney, but right now we are in the midst of trying to prove our client Madangard innocent. And we're dealing with a very talkative old lady, to put it mildly. And Ansert, you're saying, where can I change my avatar? I can't see the plugin at the bottom of the stream. Oh, hang on. I always have to look at it. There's a thing. Hang on, let me see. Let me pull up my Twitch real quick. Just so I can tell you exactly where to look. Oh, so it should be, you should see SA next to like the sound alerts icon, and from there you should be able to choose your avatar. That should work. And Mama Mocha, well, haven't rated in a hot minute. And I haven't rated my dragon sister. I'm here to cheer you on in this case. Aw, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You were so sweet. And it's on the stream itself? Perfect, okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yes.
Yeah, looks like she's real sorry. Should I forgive her?
Pile on the pressure. We gotta pile it on for Miss Old Bag there.
If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to this prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terribly lonely trash can. That's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Ms. Oldbag,
I don't believe that the note is the only... Oh, sorry.
I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night.
Take that!
Ms. Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lana Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like,
my sweetie, $1,600 camera disappeared on me.
Why, witness! Also, wow! Mr. Wright, I had no idea you could do such a passable southern accent there. Very exaggerated.
What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too.
Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
Yeah, that's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
And Venari, no mercy in the courtroom. Yeah, there's no mercy. We put on that pressure.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Bailiff! Check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai.
See, I told you. That's the guy I saw.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Oh, and I just saw, Kensei, looks like you've chosen a shonen character. Quite cool. Let's see, taken Holly before the murder.
What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ungard clearly stated that, at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is...
the defendant.
Right? It's just a little borrowing. It's fine.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. If I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy.
Oh yeah, for context, for all of our people just coming in, and who didn't know beforehand, Maya, our right-hand best friend, she has been kidnapped by a dude named Da Killer. And yeah, he said that we have to prove Matt Ungard's innocence. Otherwise, Maya gets it. So a lot is hanging on the line here.
I can't make a mistake here. There was only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's
Something strange. Pretty long pants there.
there's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming.
Right. Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Minare, something a little sussy about this photo. Just a touch, just a tad, you know?
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well, here we hear one chance and we go, time to save.
I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
Take that!
I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And what does it mean?
The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. Ungard.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, we vibe to the Steel Samurai theme whenever we can. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
What is the meaning of this?
Bum, 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 dun, dun, dun.
I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks! You can see his socks!
Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant.
And it's sad that Maya missed this trial, right? Yeah, she would have been like, what the heck is going on? And also really excited about all the samurai stuff.
All right, I think I've turned things around for myself this time.
That's curious.
Huh? What is?
Edgeworth is unusually calm today.
That's true.
He is just letting this trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride.
Along for the ride? What do you mean by that?
I can only guess that perhaps He doesn't feel under attack at all.
He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. Why aren't you freaking out? I figured it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume?
Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think?
Yeah. Why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
It's Maya! No. Well, we have Miss Adrian's prints. So I feel like she's the only person we could accuse.
Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Ungard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Ungard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Ungard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as the murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want, Wright? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to induct Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Carita. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order! Order! It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. All right, this is it.
This is kind of bad for us.
Huh? What do you mean?
If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day.
One more day? If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I cannot do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not... I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of this statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out and advanced by that man.
Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over.
Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
And I actually need to take a quick little break myself and get some more water. So while we do that, we'll do another little battle royale. But hang on, let's save. Gotta do that first. Okay. So here. Do a little battle royale while I go get myself some water. Good luck to everyone! Oh, did I spell it wrong? Oh, yeah, I did. I absolutely spelled that wrong. Oh, God. Ergo always coming in and scaring me with his soft feet.
All right, now fight for my amusement.
I'll be back very shortly. That was perfect timing. And congratulations!
Congratulations, Ansett, for your victory.
And yes, I know, right? Soft feet, how horrifying. Ergo always makes fun of me because I am very easily scared. I'm so jumpy, it's ridiculous. At work, people will come up to me and be like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, ah! And then Ergo will just walk into the room and I'm not expecting it, and I'm like, ah! Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue where we left off, shall we? Oh wait, I think I already saved. Oh well, there we go.
Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to that knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony? During the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. She could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it was really her? Yeah, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. You'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of the day. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude?
Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impa's missing suicide note, right?
Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impa as her strength and reason to live. But when Miss Impa suddenly killed herself, it sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida, all to get the suicide note back.
That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me.
What?
Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impa.
It was Edgeworth.
It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet.
Rebel. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Miss Richwood, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan's Corrida's room. What is your occupation?
I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Mattengard.
I see. Now then...
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland.
If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan, but this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
But I didn't kill him.
No one is accusing you of that.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we're all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court.
Right? It is pretty cool to see him all over this case. Edgeworth is like, so, yep, that doesn't surprise me at all. Yep, nope, I got this. It's like he knows. It's like he has figured everything out. Interesting, that. Oh, something about the murder taking place. There you go.
When I found the body.
Whoa! Nomi! Hello, Nomi! Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, and you know what? It just occurred to me. I should shout my lovely subscribers out. Hang on. So Nomi Zoo is very cool. She's very funny. She's very talented. You should totally check her out as well. Thank you so much for subbing now for 2 months. I really appreciate you, Nomi. It is good to see you as well. How are you doing? Oh, of course. And then here. Earlier today, we had Revenants as well. He is a ghosty boy. I do a lot of tier lists with him. We like to do tier lists about animated movies and stuff, so he's quite fun and very entertaining as well. And he plays a lot of cool games. Let's see, and then, of course, in the beginning of the stream, my husband Ergo, whoop, there you go, who is a magical crow. He streams as often as he can, and you know what? I have to say this because I love him, but he's really great. But also, even if I didn't love him, I would still say he was really great. So you should check all these lovely people out. They're not only very supportive of me, but they are just really great, and they're great at what they do. They're great content creators. So give them a look-see if you're looking for new VTubers to follow. But yes, but anyway, I appreciate you, Nomi, and thank you for coming. And thank you to everybody who's here currently. I appreciate all of you. So anyway, let's see what Andrews is saying again. I got distracted there. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the crime scene, and I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match.
Yes, I know.
In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing?
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Okay.
And what was Mr. Engard doing at the time?
He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony.
Mr. Engard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes?
Excuse me? What are you...
Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence without a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Engard's knife from his room?
No.
Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue.
Burn! Edgeworth!
And why did you do that?
As a friendly gesture, one was to make an appearance with the other heroes.
So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh?
Actually, it was supposed to be a confession.
Is that the only reason?
I beg your pardon. What are you implying?
You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim.
Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time.
You can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got into his room? You were in shock.
What, was I not supposed to be?
Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corrida. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect such a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with her being shocked or not.
I see.
This is the photo you're referring to, correct?
Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest.
And the guitar case was like this too?
Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then, what did you do next, witness?
So apparently this is Edgeworth's type. Let's see.
Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There were no lip marks left on the wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corrida, you were in great shock, and that's when you poured yourself a glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind. It's no big deal.
What was she starting to say just now?
Yeah, because that was a bit out of character. Yeah, agreed. Edgeworth doesn't usually talk to people like that in that regard, so I feel you with that. And I'm going to out myself right now as I absolutely am a Wrightworth shipper. I absolutely love Phoenix and Edgeworth. I know not everybody feels that way as well, but it is a pretty big ship in this franchise, so I may not be alone. Edgeworth is a nerd confirmed. Oh yeah. Edgeworth is a mega nerd, and we stand for that. We stand for him being such a nerd boy. And you say you'd ship that? Nice. Yeah, I'm all about that. Wrightworth or Naramitsu, whatever you call it, I love it. Mwah! All of Edgeworth's unnecessary feelings. But anyway, yeah, he's an absolute dork. Confirmed. I agree with you, Venray. Very much so. He's a dork for the law.
I'm convinced that you said you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Oh, she was the one who did that. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? The one that's broken everywhere. This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal in your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else.
What kind of flower vase was it?
It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser, and that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase.
That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself.
That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality.
It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now.
I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to
keep on the offensive and not let up.
The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence.
I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake.
Okay, it was time for the show to start, so I went to Matt's room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and then there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw, naturally, exact same scene as in the crime photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. This knocked over the flower vase, where it fell onto the guitar case. Here, hang on. Wah! Okay, let's look at the crime scene photo. So she said that it was exactly like this, essentially, and we know that she was the one that broke this, and she's the one that left the glass. Okay. I wonder if this will have something to do with the button, because it was found on the hakama. So if she was wearing the hakama, then she... I don't know, like, I'm trying to piece it together. I feel like I sometimes piece things together as slowly as Phoenix does, where he's like, oh yeah, I get it now. Like, finally, after a while. I might try that. Let's see, if I'm about to finish, I'll pour myself a glass of juice. It was one who knocked over the flower vase, where it fell onto the guitar case. But I feel like this is important, because we added it. It's usually the statement where there's something added that's important. Hang on, I'm gonna do a quick little save. I'm gonna try something, because I feel like this statement would make the most sense with what I'm thinking. Because the button... Let's see what happens. Nope. Wrong trail there. But yeah, it's usually the statements that are added. I was the one who knocked over the flower vase, where it fell onto the guitar case. Let's look at the guitar case. Empty, there is some water, but only on top of the lid. But only on top of the lid. It would have been open. Hang on. So it would have actually fallen into the case, not on top of it, because it was open. Okay. Let's try that. There we go. There we go.
You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case?
Is there some problem with what I said?
It's not some problem, it's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However,
If that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Grezzy figured it out, and if Grezzy can figure it out, you know it's obvious.
That's very true. It would be very obvious because she's quite slow to the uptake.
Rude, Judge. Furthermore, there was one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor.
And what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over. Is that all? Now, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end.
Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Cronus. Much appreciate, my friend. The water dragon's gotta have some water. I even put a little bit of strawberry lemonade flavoring in it. Was feeling fancy. Let's see, okay.
The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be, however, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there was no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details?
Make her testify! The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either.
All right, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And let's see. It's hard to find out which piece of evidence the game wants you to present sometimes. Like, it didn't specify anywhere on the guitar case that it was open. So one could assume you should go for the picture instead. Exactly. You know, so Jello Ocalypse or Apocalypse, however you say his name, he has this series called This Is Basically, and he did a This Is Basically Ace Attorney, and it's really funny, by the way. But they do make a mention of that as well, where they're like, oh no, you should have presented the photo of the banana. The banana and the photo are completely different. So like, yeah, this game is kind of wacky with that kind of stuff sometimes. So very, very true. Absolutely true. I'll make myself feel better by that. I don't remember too clearly, because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't remember.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Ugh, anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man.
Oh, just kiss him already.
Let's see. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind?
Well, you see.
Are you sure you were the one who opened the guitar case?
She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not.
Sounds like her dependent side is taking over.
Well, Miss Andrews?
Yes, it was me.
So, you opened the guitar case then?
Yes, well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case?
Huh?
Mr. Corita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think the first thing you would do is call for help, not open the guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed.
Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was all right or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it.
Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Was it really empty?
I was just wondering if maybe, when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright.
Sorry. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body?
Yes, that's probably it.
I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try.
Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now.
I wasn't planning on letting up, but
She's at her weakest now, so this is our chance.
yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with.
If we had a weapon to hit her with, we could just totally knock her out right now. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. Okay. Okay, let's look. Let's take a look. Here, well, let's go back to the guitar case one more time, just to make sure. Empty. There is some water, but only on the top of the lid. There's Corita's fingerprints. I don't know if it's this stuff. No, I don't think we are there yet. And yeah, that's the costume. Let's look at the murder scene. Yep, looks the same as the last time I looked at it. Throw the guitar case at her. Oh god. Can you imagine just mid-trial Phoenix just launches the empty guitar case at her? Here, let's read it again. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty. As for why I opened it, even I don't know. I do think that Phoenix is right, that she was probably looking for something. Right? Just be like, care to explain this? Explain it! And I feel like it might relate to the suicide note. Because she's under the impression that Juan hid Impa's... Or, I feel like I'm saying Impa from Zelda. And I said this last time I streamed, I really do not know if it's Impax or Impa, like if the X is silent or not. So I'm gonna say Impa for now, but if anyone finds out differently, let me know and I'll change it. But I feel like this is related. Because why else would she be opening up cases? She'd be looking for the suicide note, maybe. Because that's what she got close to Juan for. Case was empty after all. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal. That's where I opened the case. I don't know. Okay, hang on. Quick save. Alright. Let's give it a try. Let's go with this. I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm sorry. I know this is a sore spot for you, but we're gonna give it a try. Oh, oops, nope. I always press that one instead of the actual present button. Oop, nope, I was wrong. Oops. Nope. Dang! I thought I was on something there. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. What about profiles? So, I mean, I did press that accidentally, the profile button earlier. Curious, is there anything here? No. Can always tell if you goofed by the music not changing. Yeah, that, and also when you don't see the health bar move, you're also like, oh shit. Nope, we're about to lose points. Nope, we got it wrong. Nope. All right. All right, no judge. I'm gonna take a quick little peek at our handy dandy walkthrough. Let's see. Just to be on the safe side, let's get a little hint here. Okay. Okay. Oh, so we're still using the guitar case. Okay. All right. I'm not really sure why, though. This is one of the ones where I'm like, I don't know why. Permanently tap Bear's Karita's fingerprints. Maybe we'll see what they say after I present it. If I read the walkthrough correctly, it seems to be that we need to present the guitar case, and I'm guessing because it talks about Bear's Karita's fingerprints. I wonder if that means that he had opened it before, because the guitar supposedly would have been in there. Because I played this before, and I think they're gonna bring up why would he forget the guitar? It's like his signature thing as the Jammin' Ninja. So yeah, let's do it. Let's see what they say. Yeah, adventure game logic be kind of funny sometimes. It do be, don't it?
There was no way you were the one who opened the guitar case.
Oh, it's true, because her fingerprints weren't on it. Yeah, if she had opened the guitar case, then her fingerprints would have been on it. Doi! There we go. It's all coming together. Ergo and I watched Emperor's New Groove last night, so now I have Kronk in my mind, and I'm very happy for that. Why would you say that?
It's elementary, my dear.
Oh God, Phoenix. Channeling your ancestors now, aren't you?
Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. See, Gruzzy was oblivious. She missed that obvious note. Yeah, she did. She had to look at the walkthrough again. Can you believe it? Anyway, what is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
Because she was wearing the costume! It was at the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
See.
Oh, but wait! Her prints on the wine glass! It's all coming together! It's all coming together! It's all coming together.
You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at that time? Actually, yeah, and I didn't even need to walk through for that.
Take that!
Right? Phoenix thinking he's all detective. It's Miles' investigations, not Phoenix Wright investigations. Very true.
I have your proof right here. Ta-da! This wine glass.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you just think it was a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case?
We broke her glasses and she had a new pair. Convenient.
Order! Order!
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
What do you mean?
I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here.
But it's just an empty case.
I wonder if it really was empty, though. Right? How many spares does she have? That's a good question. Probably as, I don't want to bring it up in case anyone doesn't want any spoilers at all for the next game, but probably just as many as the particular item the prosecutor in the next game has seems to possess.
But the guitar, the bright red guitar was at the studio.
Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. Oh, I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that.
Right, so an infinite supply? Exactly.
So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case. Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into the misguided. Or into his misguided.
No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with the murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Really, I'm asking, can you?
Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar?
So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that right? Or is that it, right? I just realized I said that. I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside the case at the time of the murder?
I'm not even gonna save. I'm pretty sure it was this. Because it's what she wanted. It's what she was looking for. Can you imagine if the judge was actually competent? Because I can't.
Same!
That would be a whole different game.
And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one?
Why, Mr. Wright? Why?
Well, I just thought it might have been possible. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be?
What? It was wrong. Rude. How dare you trick me?
Can't a foolishly foolish fool get some love? Do you still think you can prove your theory? Can you prove that the guitar case was not empty at the time of the murder? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. We've said this already. I'm gonna save again, because I don't want to lose more points.
Okay. Well, I was all certain it was that. But what else could it have been? Let's see. Right? Yeah, he did. He did make a reference to Franny doing the foolishly foolish fool. Love it. He is indeed quite the mad lad. I agree. See, it's a shame that we can't use this just in trial, you know? Be like, oh, you're lying or something, you know? Oof, okay. I was all sure it was that. What could it be? Oh, excuse me. Picture taken in the hallway right after the murder. Trying to see if there's anything different here. Just in case. No. Supposed to confess something? No, I don't think that's related to this. That's certainly not. She wouldn't be looking for the camera. What would be inside the case? A body. Actually, wait, was it? No. Okay, again, do not at me. Just gonna look. Oh, wait, what? Really? Oh, okay. The guitar case was inside the guitar case. Yes, I love that. So apparently, see, I was looking at this and thought, nah, it's no way it's that. It's this one or Lotta's photo. Because a spare costume. Yep. That's that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Yet again, I pressed the wrong button.
This is a photograph. Every time it makes me laugh.
Yes, but what is important is what is in this picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is
he calling the judge stupid?
inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume.
What?
Because it's true, because she left wearing the costume.
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying the witness opened the guitar case with the costume? What insane point would there have been doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
Yeah, so the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matangard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room, and inside the guitar case of all places?
True. It is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
It was stolen from Ungard. It was a spare costume. Yeah, he was sleeping. She couldn't have taken it off of him while he was sleeping without him knowing.
Mr. Ungard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one.
What? Then are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I am saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Corrida, was a German ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point. I don't know. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling this time without any sense of inner monologue?
No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you.
All right, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai's spare costume to the hotel was...
I just remembered. Matt on guard said he didn't know anything about the post-ceremony stage show. I think it's this. I think it's this. He wants to dab on him. Nice.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
His press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about that as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Edgard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how could that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself.
The victim?
Yes, the spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
Bum, bum, bum! He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something, and by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Correa, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt and Guard.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure.
He was going to confess that he's a 60-year-old bald midget. Whoa. Well, that would certainly be interesting, wouldn't it?
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me? Are you referring to me as a pro too? Am I included in that statement?
Yes, just as you say. The press conference was set up by Wright.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him. That was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway.
He was going to ruin him? Huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? And do you know what this secret of Mr. Unguard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. Unguard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan, no matter what. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with his testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling.
Also, right, yeah, with the amount of times witnesses lie, did they ever get charged with perjury? I think there was only one instance that I can recall. I don't remember what case it was, and I don't even remember who said it. But they were like, oh, we're going to deal with this perjury later. And I'm like, oh, wow, they're actually addressing dealing with the perjury. I can't remember what game it was. But yeah, I know, right? You would think that they would have to deal with more than what most of them end up with, based on the amount of perjury they do.
See, please keep that in mind as you cross-examine.
Yeah, the judge probably just forgets. Fair point. Honestly, fair point.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down.
Let's do it.
Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you?
Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix.
They didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember.
May I continue now? Nope, come back.
I press it all. So would you say this need came from the press conference?
Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event at the hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt and Guard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes.
because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. Ungard himself didn't know anything about the press conference.
Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony, if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright?
Hold it!
Has Mr. Ungard done something to hurt or betray you personally?
Why do you ask?
You were the one who helped Mr. Corrida with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ungard, yet you still helped out.
Objection!
The person on trial right now is Mr. Ungard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself?
Hold it!
But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Ungard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ungard?
I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews is saying. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. Judge is glaring straight at Mia.
He's glaring at you, smart guy.
Hold it!
You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage.
Then what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Gemma Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama. Isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
Hold it!
And how do you know that?
When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard.
I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail?
Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not.
And I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up, it has to be here. But where and what?
Hold it!
So what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time.
Objection!
Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ungard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Corrida planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ungard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosopher. Wait, this isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please stop slandering the witness.
As I expected, Miss Andrews'
testimony seems pretty solid.
Really? Because to me it sounds a little wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more.
You should know this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk.
Got it, Chief. I'm going to pin you down this time, Miss Andrews.
Okay, from the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. I know what his motives are. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. The button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. And I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
I knew somebody was gonna say it. the pin her down thing. Let's see. Button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. In that photo that we have, there's no button, right? I was gonna say, can you see a button? Nah, that'd have been too easy. Oh, wait. Yes, I think I remember there being something. I'm trying to remember if I'm vaguely remembering something that happens later or if I have the evidence to it. Hang on. Reliable sources say that Juan Carita has been getting in close with the mysterious and beautiful manager. I think the reliable source was Matt on guard, if I remember correctly. I think. No, to be safe. Although reliable source is not necessarily decisive evidence, it doesn't say it. But hang on. Okay, let's try it. Let's see. No! Dang it! Nope. Come back. Gosh darn. Okay. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Would that be something? Do we have something for that? I still think it has something to do with this. No. It was the wine glass. No. Anyway, let me look through these again. The moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing. The button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. I feel like it is the tabloid, I just don't know what statement it is. I just have that feeling. My feeling isn't always right, though. It isn't. I don't think it would be a profile. Yeah, there's nothing really... Yeah. Wait. Hang on, wait. This stuff. This has nothing to do with Matt, right? Hang on. Deceased. Found by Juan. Was her suicide note hidden? Attempted suicide report. Shock from solicited suicide. I don't think that's coming up yet. I still think it's the tabloid. Hang on. I don't remember if I used it on this one. I might have. Hang on. I'm gonna try it. See what happens. Nope. Okay. Nope. I've done that before. I would take, I was so confused and I was like, I think it's this item, but I don't know what statement, and I just used it on everything. Objection! That wouldn't make sense with this part. Well, here, let's also look at the button again. Hang on, let's look at the button. It was ripped from his costume. It was covered in Carita's blood, found in Enguard's Hakama. But yeah, if he was napping, well, she claims it was before, so yeah. We already tried the tablet on that. Let's see. Okay, so let me see. I admit that I did take a look at the walkthrough just in case, just to kind of see what it might be alluding to. And it looks like that it's relating to his autopsy report. And I think it said something about the fourth statement. And I guess it's because, hang on, because like the autopsy report. Where is it? Oh, it's this one, that's right. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. So it's relating to his cause of death. And so the knife, Matt Ungard's supposed knife, is not the actual thing that killed him. And that's the thing that relates to Matt. Okay. So let's see. I think it was that.
This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Strangulation?
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight.
Okay. Thank you, Phoenix, for clearing that up for me.
That's right, Ms. Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body.
Order! Order! What is the meaning?
What is the meaning of this, Wright?
Judge is like, words, what do they mean?
What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
To have a memento of the crime, to pin the crime on Ungard, to destroy evidence. Clearly to pin the crime on Ungard. There was only one logical reason for doing something like that, and again, it's so logical that Grezzy didn't even have to look at the walkthrough. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Ungard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Ungard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point.
Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end.
The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ungard, is...
Lotta Heart! No. Pearl! No, it's,
Take that!
This is what Phoenix is saying.
Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you!
What a Pokemon reference.
You are Mr. Kurita's killer.
What?
It was the judge all along, right?
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. It's not like you do this every game, in every trial. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
Knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Then what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama?
This button was removed after the victim's removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ungard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. The only person who could have put this button onto Mr. Ungard's Hakama, I almost said Edgeworth, is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case? Tell me how that relates, Phoenix. I want to know.
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It could have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case, and it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right.
Nope. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. And so to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, here is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Ungard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
please stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. But it makes you look sus as hell. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing the witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ungard's room.
Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? All right.
That's it. That's when Francesca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Richwood?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida.
Well, we've got some of that.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corita?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I'll abstain from my answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove either way. Ah, yes, the button is in a Sakama is clearly circumstantial. That's very true. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do?
Somehow, you've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
A recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial. Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please, wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. It's about Maya, dang it! Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you? It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there is one little thing that I am curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice.
So my actions were unusual? But I've already...
Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read of him. Is he a friend or foe? I just don't know. Mia, you're a poet. Did you know it?
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Mr. Andrews, if you please.
That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, who was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something. So I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Ah, story's changed, huh?
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? What's with all the gosh dang perjury?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Hold it!
But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right?
Of course not.
Then who did you pour it for?
Mr. Wright, there is a rhyme and a reason for everything. Can't you just wait a little longer for it to be revealed?
In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen.
Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Can't say. Still wish we could yeet the guitar case at her.
Let's see. Walked into the room. So, it was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight, Mr. Kurita? I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Slumped over.
Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. It really looked like he was sleeping.
Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd?
Also, yeah, wait. Did he have like a knife in his chest and blood on his body, supposedly?
I don't know. Yeah, sleepy.
When I saw him sitting like, oh, I already did that, blah, 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 blah.
Then what did cross your mind?
I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix and then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyway, that's what I had thought.
I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all, even though there was a knife in his chest. Okay.
Maybe if you yeet the guitar case at the judge, it'll fix his dementia. Yes, there was circumstantially was a knife in his chest, as it happens, you know? Oh, you guys are good. Let's see.
You thought he fainted.
I thought he was asleep at first, but then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone.
And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice.
Yes, he always has a hard time waking up, so Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink.
I see. And after that, what happened next?
And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead?
I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backward.
And knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened.
Yes, this is what it all comes down to.
Huh?
This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case.
Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time?
Okay. I do wonder if it is that obvious about the... He was just sitting there, tired, looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. I feel like it's one of these two statements where we would want to look at the photo of him dead. He had a knife in his chest. There, yeah, okay, there we go.
So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body?
What is the meaning of this? That photo that we've seen numerous times? Nani?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There was a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought there was a dead man.
Well, you see...
I doubt a single person in the room would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer.
No! They sometimes faint afterwards. Did she faint?
It seems like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Madame Guard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. You're supposed to freak out and say you're the killer. That kind of composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Pat, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Madame Guard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have
Have we found the truth at last?
What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. Yeah, usually in some crazy manner where they freak out in some abstract, absurd way. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matangard.
Objection!
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. The witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth.
Yeah, it's true! The absolute real truth. What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Madame Guard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Francesca von Karma.
Huh?
Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then, right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word no matter what happens. If you do, Madame Guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging onto them.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That is my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Mom. Help. Please. Someone help me.
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else who it could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
For the sake of justice, I have to win a complete acquittal today. There is no way around that.
But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Richwood. However, it's clearly that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this, however. What is it, Mr. Richwood? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop!
Mr. Edgeworth? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop! Please stop!
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
Come on, Edgy. I love you and all, man. And I know what you're doing, and I know you're going on hard mode here. But she's not a pitiful woman just because she has this kind of condition. It's difficult.
The secret of her dependent nature
Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please stop, I beg you. If people find out... Oh. And to be fair, let's see, so you're saying, to be fair, I like to believe he only did this because he saw that Phoenix was pushing so hard not to delay the trial. And fair, I agree with that. And it's definitely Edgeworth's personality to be all like, you know what I'm about to do. I'll do it right here and now. You know, like that attitude that he has. Like that's very on brand for Edgeworth, and he's laying it on because he knows it'll get a reaction. So I'm not mad at him. I know what he's doing. But I am sure that this is, I feel for Andrews, I guess is really all I'm saying, because I'm sure that this is difficult. And yeah, agreed, still very brutal. But again, as you were saying, and as I agree, Edgeworth is coming from a good place here. He knows that Phoenix is trying to keep this trial going, and he's doing what he can to make sure that it does continue.
If you're going to say you would choose death, that is no concern to me. Edgeworth, how could you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me.
Alright, I'll talk, but please help me. Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he'd fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a habit of inconvenience. That's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
Stabbed the body with a knife. Why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but...
This is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man, I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time? So Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she'd do it with murder in mind. She didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt and Guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
And how did she even find out he was actually dead before stabbing him? For all she knew, he might have actually just fainted. Let's see. That's fair, yeah, because, yeah, that's true with the timeline of events and everything. Because, yeah, she was the one who stabbed him, so she would have just seen him kind of slumped over. Yeah, there was blood on his chest, but, or actually, no, wait, the blood was probably from the stab wound? I would assume so, yeah. But yeah, no, that all does make sense.
But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. And you're telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it. It was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice.
What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because, one, he was going to expose Matt's weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's what I thought. I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt.
So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button.
The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
So that was when you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him.
Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime.
So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife?
It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect.
So you thought to rip off one of the buttons and then plant it in Mr. Unguard's Sakama?
Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a... Oh, well, that's right.
An inconvenience.
There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lana.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's Ms. Oldbag for you.
I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
So you were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference with it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is this secret?
That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Unguard's room and planted the button.
Into Matt's Sakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does all this mean?
Mr. Richwood, is it the real criminal? Is Matt on guard? Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francesca, huh?
She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
Oh, and Nomi, thank you for the hydrate, just realized. Much appreciated, friend. Thank you.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Oh, wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right. Yeah. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Ooh, empty chair, huh?
Oh, Feeny! Feeny!
Today's trial, it's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth?
What is it?
Before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it?
Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this on the room that day.
The room? That day?
Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there, right next to him.
You found the card right next to the victim's body?
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as the clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth, do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me this time! All this time! I didn't mean to!
What is this all about? Right, just casually taking the card and flipping it around in my hand all day.
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card! What in the world is it? And what does it mean?
To be continued! Oh! See, this would be a good place to stop. And I did say I wanted to play Danganronpa. However, I have been thinking. I could maybe stream Danganronpa tomorrow. I could stream that tomorrow at some point. But I am trying to decide now if I want to continue or if we should just stop for now. It's kind of late. We are going at about 4 hours now. As much as I would love to continue, it might be a good idea to stop here. Leave it at a good little cliffhanger. Because maybe, if I feel so inclined, since I am also off on Wednesday this week, I might try to stream some more Ace Attorney on Wednesday. So maybe we will finish up this case on that day. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But I think I will do just that. Yes, find out more next time when Grizzy streams, which I promise will not be a month from now. I do plan to stream this week. And I will also be doing, I haven't done too many like formal posts about it yet, but I am contemplating trying to do the subathon that I was musing about on Twitter sometime next week. Might be the week after. We will see what works better. But yeah. So yes. Yeah, you think this is the halfway point of this trial? I agree. I think this is kind of like the halfway point. So we might be able to finish it if we play long enough on Wednesday. But we'll see. We'll see how long we have. At the very least, we'll find out why Edgeworth was so curious about that card. About what made him so emotional about it. But that being said, so hang on. Let us first save. This is the most important thing to do. Whoop. As I don't do it. Okay, there we go. Save. Okay. So, let us find someone to raid. Let us see who we've got. All right. Ergo, do you have anybody in mind? So I see we do have a couple people streaming, but I don't know when they started. Let me see. Yeah, is he, you don't think he's done yet? I mean, granted, he does usually stream for a while. So, yes, I think that's a good idea. So we'll go ahead and visit our friend Crowan Chroma. And he is quite fun to raid, I'll tell you. So prepare yourselves for an experience. I can type, I swear. And I can spell. There we go. All right. So, thank you once again for joining me on this Ace Attorney stream. I really appreciate it, and I've met a lot of nice people, some nice new people, and I welcome you to the treasure hoard, as I said before. So, thank you very much for joining. See you soon. Maybe tomorrow for Danganronpa if I'm not too lazy. I've got some art I've got to work on, so we'll see if I have the availability for it. But if we don't do Danganronpa, we will at least continue Ace Attorney before I have to go back to work on Thursday. So at least anticipate more Ace Attorney potentially on Wednesday. So that should be fun. All right. But yes, till next time, see you later, everyone, and say a hearty good hello to our good friend Crowan Chroma. But for now, it is adieu. Bye!